হ্যালো, না তোমার শোনা যাচ্ছে না। আমারটাই শোনা যাচ্ছে। হ্যাঁ।
Hello.
Is my voice clear to you, sir?
Yes, sir, clear.
It's perfect.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you very much. So, good afternoon once again. We are already late.
Everything
My
is
name is
fine,
Dr. Sanjeev Pandey. I'm a associate professor in botany of this college. My colleague, Dr. Amrita Haldar, is also sitting here. He's a and this session contains about or presenters. So, considering the number, we can allot 6 minutes to each of the speaker because there are 20, and if you give 6 minutes to all, it will take 2 hours to complete the process, and there will be some suffix and prefix, so it will take 2.5 hours, I think so. So to 5 minutes will be your presentation, and 1 minute will be for question answer. That will be the process that we will proceed for, and without wasting any time any further, let's start. The first candidate or first presenter, can you give me this? Momita Dotto, Assistant Professor, Muralidhar Girls College. If you are there, please screen. Muralidhar.
Mommy, hello.
Momita Dotto, are you there?
Next.
Momita Dotto, if she joins later, we'll give her chance. So we will moving to Muhammad Rajab Ali.
Yes, sir, I am present.
Kormoshri Hiteswar Soikia College, affiliated to
Yes, sir, I
Guwahati
am present
University.
here. Okay.
Thank you very much. Welcome.
Okay.
You open your presentation on the screen, and then
Okay.
and anyone should chat only. That will be better. We will select 2-3 questions from that, and we'll ask the speaker. So start your process now, sir.
Our batchmate in university.
Yes, sir, I am trying. Is my slide visible, sir? Hello, sir.
Is visible.
Is my slide visible or not?
Yes.
Now I will start.
I'm going on. Okay.
Okay, sir. Myself, Mr. Rajab Ali, Assistant Professor, Department of Philosophy, Pharmacy, ICCSR College. Today, my presentation topic is environmental issues, ecocentric approach for sustainable future. Introduction. Environmental issues are the harmful effects of human activities on the environment. At present, across the world, people are facing the environmental crisis. Pollution, global warming, climate change, drought, acid rain, deforestation, flood, artificial flood are the burning environmental issues. Natural environment of the earth is constantly changing. For the protection of our future generation, environmental sustainability is essential and primary condition. The environmental crisis demand moral awareness on conservation of the natural
Hello,
resources
Rajiv.
and environment. Yes, sir.
Your
Yes, sir.
screen is not visible right now. Screen not visible.
Okay, sir.
No,
It's coming. It's coming.
it's coming.
Okay.
Yeah, it has come. Yeah, it has
Visible,
come.
it's
Okay,
visible.
sir. The earth is ultimate source of value, and the well-being of the whole earth's environment depends on living and non-living components of the nature. The ecocentric approach can help to promote sustainable use of natural resources, not only for the present generation, but also for the future generation. It can lead us to our goal of environmental sustainability. The methodology of the study. This paper descriptive method has been used. Both primary and secondary data have been used from different sources, books, journals, and records. The objective of the study. The main objective of this paper is to focus on the utility of ecocentric approach to create moral support and awareness for environmental conservation for sustainable future. Ecocentric approach. Ecocentric approach as a philosophical and ethical method gives importance on the protection and conservation of the natural environment for sustainable development. It supports a long-term solution of environmental issue. It is based on ontological belief denying the belief that all human and non-human beings have intrinsic value and equal importance. Ecocentric centrism is a term used by environmental philosophers and ecologists to denote a nature center. The ecocentric approach was conceived by L. Leopold. It was a worldview that recognized intrinsic value in ecosystem. It sharply contrasts with anthropocentrism. To preserve a healthy environment for current and future generation, ecocentric approach must prevail over anthropocentrism. Ecocentrism is a value system that puts forth the both living and non-living beings in nature have a moral value. There is a mutual dependence and interrelationship between living and non-living things in nature. Environment includes both biotic and abiotic entities. Human beings as a biotic factor are responsible for the protection and conservation of natural environment. For Aldo Leopold, the basis of ethics lies in the evolution of modes of cooperation between individual and society and between land and animals. He claims that the moral consideration should be extended to land and the various living beings and non-living beings on it, because all of them have an intrinsic value. He extended a moral principle that a thing is right if it is capable of preserving integrity, stability, and beauty of nature. It is wrong if not capable of being so. The ecocentric approach conceives that much before the origin of various life forms, there was air, water, fire, earth, and others. The human species is the last in the
You have
order
1
of
minute left,
evolution.
sir. You have
Okay,
1 minute
sir.
left.
So
Hmm.
the human beings have more obligation towards the life forms and inanimate entities of nature. Conclusion: ecosystem gives more importance on human duties and responsibilities for the protection and conservation of environment. As a rational being, every individual has duties towards the nature to solve unprecedented environmental crisis. Ecocentrism reminds that human being, both human and non-human being, are absolutely depend on ecosystem process that nature provides. For sustainable development, human being individually should take responsibility to protect and preserve the natural environment. Every individual directly or indirectly involves in the pollution, they are polluting the natural environment. So every human being should show their responsibility to protecting and preserving the natural resources and natural environment. Uh, Environmental sustainability demands individual responsibility
Please be
and collective
precise.
action. Okay, sir. Okay. Each individual can
Rajivani,
contribute by adding ethical lifestyle. Only ethical consciousness can create responsibility towards the environment. Ecocentric worldview on environmental issue is necessary for the management of natural resources and environment conservation for sustainable future. Thank you, sir.
I will have to stop you here.
Okay, thank
Have
you,
you
sir.
finished up?
Okay, finish, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. If you have any question, in the chat box. If anyone can ask any question directly. So, I'm moving to the next speaker, Dr. Tuhin Mojumdar, Assistant Professor in English, Khatra Adivasi Mahavidyalaya. Are you there, sir?
Yes, I'm here. Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, you are audible clearly. Please be
Okay,
precise, okay, and talk about the objective of your work or whatever you are giving.
certainly. My
And what can be done in
today's
the
paper,
future?
certainly. Today's paper is centered on an environmental issue, and I am taking certain poems and selected poems of Keki and Darwala, who is an Indian English poet. Before heading to those two poems, I would like to give a purview about the theory of eco-criticism, the nucleus being traced in Raymond Williams' The Country and the City, and Colodny's The Lady of the Land. Now, William Ruckert's essay, Literature and Ecology, argues that environmental degradation is concomitant to cessation of human world with the natural world. Now, there are two poems that I would like to primarily focus on. One is K.K. Darwala's poem, Suddenly the Tree, which is rather crafted in response to the enormity of damage that human lives have brought upon nature. This poem is a critique of a material culture which has long defined humanity. The act of honey thieves is an instance in this point. The violence perpetrated on nature by mankind is given cognizance in the act of smoking out of the bees from their natural habitat. The havoc created in the natural order for utilitarian benefits is seen in the form of the bees roaming the house. The ecological stand of the poem becomes profound as the speaker describes how the sparrow and the squirrels feed themselves on the remains of the beehive, quite oblivious to.
Excuse me, your screen is not being shared properly.
I don't have a PowerPoint presentation.
Just
And I don't have a PowerPoint presentation, sir.
okay, it's all right. You proceed, please.
Okay, thank you. Now, okay, the poem is not just a statement on the rift caused in nature by the mean-mindedness of the humans, but it is equally about nature compensating her loss, which is seen in the flight of the bees to set up their hive elsewhere, probably in some place devoid of human habitation. Now, this poem is particularly focusing on ethical beehiving. Now, Daruwala is influenced by Ted Hughes, and his animals appear frequently throughout his works as a persona or a metaphor or an icon. He takes them as literary weapons to bring in the contemporary ugliness which we encountered, and he also encountered as a police officer. Through animal imageries, he projects the psyche of human beings who have lost the warmth of the heart and do not care for others, especially nature. The next poem is Wolf, which is based on the poet's childhood, and he's afraid because the wolf was coming in his dream, which was the result of his modern narrative. Now, the poet says that he cannot relate the same story and scare his daughter to discipline. She is unwilling to swallow the same story. It cannot make her panic as there is no scope of imagination in her mind. A sense of nostalgia regarding his childhood forms the theme of the poem. Her conception about gun or gunpowder makes it a reality that the wolf will disappear and the gun will overthrow it. So the poem may be read as a poet's journey from innocence to experience. Besides, we can add that it narrates the complications of urban life. Urban life snatches the imagination of a blessed childhood when the village children still imagine that they are exposed to environment of crime and terror. Now the poet has forwarded his concern through the imagery of the wolf being slaughtered at the end. Now, animal cruelty, deforestation, and issues pertaining to environment have come under the purview of Darwala's poetic concerns, and that is what is the primary focus of this paper. In a very embedded, in a very short way, I'm trying to relate that. Symbiosis of nature and human passion is a key factor in his poetry. However, environmental ethics and honesty is clearly evinced in his critiquing of human greed
Dr. Majumdar,
in
you've
its
got 1
myriad
minute.
manifestation. Just give me a minute, I'll conclude. A former Indian police service officer by profession, he is alert in depicting the challenges of consumerism and capitalist enterprise, which serves as agents of alienation from environment. His poem, The Last Well, talks about the alarming issue of extinction of elements, which is also a global concern. His poem, Fish Are Speared by Night, talks about sustainable fishing, while The Last Well raises concern over large scale fishing for capitalist enterprise. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Majumdar, for finishing up in time. If you have any question, if anyone has any question, there's no question in the chat box also. You may ask questions in the chat box. We will speaker. Thank you, Dr. Majumdar. We are moving to the next speaker, Dr. K. Damodaran, Associate Professor, Department of Economics,
so
Central University. Please go ahead with your presentation, sir.
Okay, sir. Respected chair and respected organizing secretaries, good afternoon to everyone. I am happy to present my paper on addressing the challenges to e-vehicle adoption in India. So why this topic? As in India, not only in India, throughout the world, we have various environmental issues, global environmental issues, and which has to be taken care to overcome or to safeguard the future generation. So we could see that not only in India, throughout the world, we face all these issues, including global warming, climate change, and other pertinent environmental issues. So as a result, we need a care to take care of the environment. But in India, if you go through the Environmental Performance Index, the rank from 2006 to 2022, we could see there is a drop in our score as well as in our performance in terms of rank. So it shows that still we have to concentrate on the environment. But why our environmental performance is poor? Why the rank is not good? Why the score is very poor? For the reason is, in 2022, the primary energy consumption regard to coal, fuel, and gas was almost from the non-renewable energy, around 88.46%. Only meager we get through the renewable energy. And this is the reason for the poor performance of in terms of environmental management. So this shows that we are not good in generating more the renewable sources, whatever the demand that we have. And if you take the promises that we have given in COP26, our Prime Minister has assured that by 2070 we will achieve net zero emissions in a Glasgow Climate Summit meeting. So it is well appreciated by the whole world. But the question is how we are going to achieve this level, and without changing the behavior of consumption of the energy or consumption of the environmental resources. And the pathway that we can achieve the emissions by 2070 is, the thing is the consumption of non-renewable energy must decline from 88.46% to 0% by 2070. And next is the renewable energy generation must hike or increase from 11% to 100%. This has to be done by 2070. Now we are in 24. Only thing is shifting towards fossil fuel to non-fossil fuel energy. The thing is we can move towards wind energy, solar energy, hydro energy, and we can, instead of fossil fuels or petrol or other diesel vehicles, we can move on to the battery vehicles. So as I am very particular with the e-vehicles, I am concentrating only towards those vehicles. And if you take the advantages of these e-vehicles, there is no need of fuel, and there is no emissions, no noise. So all the first three is more of environment friendly. So it is good to adapt these e-vehicles, nothing wrong in it. At the same time, the lower running cost, and government is giving subsidy to purchase the e-vehicles. These are the advantages in adoption of e-vehicles. But if you take the transportation related carbon in India, it has increased from 312 million tons to 603 million tons by 22 years. But the government is aiming for 100% e-vehicles by 2030. You can see still hardly we have some 6 more years, but how far we have achieved this, instead of in spite of giving subsidies for two-wheelers as well as four-wheelers. But if you take the vehicles in India, fuel vehicles alone, it has tripled from 2010 to 2020. You can see the numbers from 1 lakh to 3 lakh two-wheelers and fuel automobiles. The country has over 21 crores two-wheelers in total and 7 crore four-wheelers in India. So e-two-wheelers, we have only 0.26%, which is 5 lakhs in total. Similarly, if you take the four-wheelers, it is 0.07%. So carbon emissions from this transportation alone has tremendously increased over the period that we are able to understand. And coming to the economics of e-vehicles, what are the advantages that we have when we use e-vehicles, which many of them we have to create awareness by taking this. For example, if you have a e-two-wheeler, the cost will be 10 to 15 paisa per kilometer. But if you are taking a fuel two-wheeler, it will take 2 rupees per kilometer. Similarly, e-four-wheelers, it will take only 1.2 rupees per kilometer. But the fuel, it is 10 rupees per kilometer. So if you take a simple computation, petrol per capita in India is 207 liters. For example, if you consider the petrol price is 100 rupee, then the expenditure will be 20,000 per year. So if you invest even 1 lakh on e-vehicles, we will get back the principal amount or the initial amount that we paid for the e-vehicles. So this has to be taken to the, just I will complete, sir, within one minute. Why people are reluctant to purchase e-vehicles? The thing is high upfront cost. So if you take the e-vehicles, it is 60% higher than the fuel two-wheelers. And similarly, battery replacement cost, battery price alone, it is occupying 50% of the two-wheelers. So once again, if the battery fails, then we have to replace. Then it increases the cost. Range anxiety. But for example, if you take the two-wheelers, it will, if you go for a single charge, it will take 50 to 80 kilometers. But if you take the petrol-powered scooters or two-wheelers, it will take even 300 kilometers based on the mileage and liters. And we don't have enough public charging stations. It is a big problem that we have in India. For example, if you take in India, we have only 12,000 charging stations. But if you take petrol pumps, it is around 90,000 in India. So there is a huge thing that we have to improve those infrastructures. And if you take the policy suggestions, we have to reduce the price of e-vehicles through our domestic production, and we have to develop the infrastructure, and we have to reduce the battery prices. That too, it will be achieved only through domestic production and development of long-range e-vehicles. That also we have to concentrate, and scrappage policies. For example, if I am having a fuel vehicle, then I have to give as a scrappage, and I have to shift on to the e-vehicles. These policies has to be changed in India. If all these things has been changed, then we can achieve these e-vehicles, and we can achieve sustainable development, and we can have a pollution-free environment. Thank you.
Thank you for finishing in time, sir. We got one question by Sandeep Sarkar. He is asking why e-vehicle is not popular like petroleum vehicle in India. That is the question.
Actually, lastly, whatever you said, it is popular. Nowadays, all could understand the e-vehicles, but the problem is we don't have confidence over purchasing the two-wheelers. For example, first the price. Okay, a rich man can afford for 1 lakh rupee to purchase e-vehicle. But if you take the efficiency of two-wheelers, it has only 50 to 80 kilometers of range. For example, if you charge one time, it will have a range of 50 to 80 kilometers. For example, if you take a fuel two-wheeler, you can travel for a long kilometers. For example, you can, wherever you go, you can take petrol, and you can purchase petrol, and you can go for a long range. But in case of e-vehicles, it is not possible. We have to charge. For example, the two-wheelers can be used only within some 10 kilometers radius, close to our house, so that we can charge it. For example, I cannot travel with the e-vehicles for 150 kilometers. So it is a issue that we have. As a result, it is not popular. Not popular, it is popular, but we are not ready to purchase.
I think you have explained it very well, Dr. Sandeep sir. Moving forward to Dr. Anamika Ganguly. She is probably not there in the list. Are you there, Dr. Anamika Ganguly? So next is Sanghamita Sanghamitra Pal, research scholar, Bakur.
She's also not present.
Are you there? She's also not there.
Not there.
She's also absent. Chandana Rajshekharan Bindu, PhD scholar, National Institute of Advanced Studies, Bangalore.
Hello, sir. I'm present. I can present now. Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, it is visible quite.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm Chandana. I'm very thankful for the esteemed organizers for giving me a chance to share my study here. I'd cut right away into the core themes of my presentation. I actually prepared for a 15-minute presentation today, so I'd be cutting down quite a bit. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. I'd be discussing today what are the emerging forms and implications of religious environmentalism in India, and how far can this be linked to the changes in socio-political realm? How does it get articulated in the specific socio-political context in Kerala? I'd be doing a case study of Kerala as well, which I'll be presenting. So these are the questions, and as a preview, literature employs a clear dichotomy between secular and religious movements. How far this is right as far as Kerala is concerned is something I'd be looking into. How do environment movements inspired by ideologies of Hindutva and Islamism articulate itself in the context of Kerala? And with regard to Kerala, how do we place the rise of religious environmentalism in the context of a perceived decline of the left politics? So literature employs a clear dichotomy between secular and religious movements. How far this is right as far as Kerala is concerned is something I'm looking into. So in the midst of this discourse, there is a question of, can the sacred serve as a source of sustainable practices? This question gains particular significance in places like India, where the boundaries between religion and state blur, exerting profound influence over one another. And the global focus of environmental issues is heightened, engaging diverse stakeholders. So particularly significant is the emergence of religious environmentalism. Literature on religious environmentalism categorizes studies into themes exploring religious texts, participant observation practices, and texts that explore religious movements and the intersection between environmental movements. So it challenged prior research warns against assuming direct positive impacts of religious values on environmental protection, citing cases like the Ganga Action Plan, which exacerbated the degradation. It challenges romanticized notions of marginalized populations as inherently ecologically sensitive. So while similar studies exist in other parts of India, Kerala's unique socio-political landscape remains unexplored. So that is why I'm focusing on Kerala today. Environmentalization is a homogenizing process driven by international non-governmental organizations, and the association of environmentalism with post-materialism is the backdrop of the study. Ronald Inglehart's thesis posits that affluent societies shift focus towards improving quality of life, considering civilizational values alongside material wealth as well. And socioeconomic factors profoundly shape social movements that are aimed towards a better environment. Post-materialist societies witness varied movements led by the new middle class, while characterizing of the state influences movement operations. In Kerala, the rise of Hindu right and a declining left has transformed the environmental landscape. Resource availability, including funding and human resources and social capital, are vital for sustaining the environmental movements. Additionally, shared meanings of frames of reference ensure a cohesive collective action and the will to mobilize. So the Hindu environmentalism in Kerala, rooted in Brahminical ideals of purity and pollution, exemplifies this. Turning to India's environmental movements, Christopher Roots categorizes actors into crusading Gandhians, ecological Marxists, and appropriate technologists, and scientific conservationists. Lynn White's critique of Western religious traditions, contrasted with Pankaj Jain's exploration of India's tradition, underscores these diverse perspectives. The fusion of asceticism and devotional models advocated by scholars like Gerald Larson offers a holistic ecological outlook. However, challenges arise from linear moral arguments that overlook economic and social divisions, as evidenced by Chitpo movement's complexities. Emma Tomalin's critique emphasized the need to separate bio-divinity from religious environmentalism, urging careful examination of tradition's ecological relevance. L.P. Vidyarthi and R.S. Mann's nature-man-spirit complex model, while insightful, faces criticism for romanticizing Adivasi culture and potentially reinforcing Brahminical frameworks. So this is the backdrop of how religion and environment has been studied in India. In recent times, there's been an upsurge in calls for a Swadeshi science movement, echoing sentiments that seeks to rekindle the intrinsic wisdom embedded within ancient Indian heritage. Concurrently, there exists a global movement advocating for alternative science, which champions recognition of grassroots level knowledge systems. So this intersection of the proponents of alternative science versus subjecting these indigenous knowledge systems to rigorous standards of modern scientific inquiry. So what happens is that there is that people end up drawing parallels between deep ecological
Madam,
principles
you've
and
got
the
1 minute.
reinterpretation. Oh, okay. I'm so sorry.
Your time is
I will
getting
just cut
over.
to.
You try to conclude. Yeah, you
Yes, I'm
cut
so
through,
sorry.
please.
Yeah, so I'll just cut to Kerala's religious environmentalism. I study two movements. One is the Aranmula Airport, the protest against Aranmula Airport, and the second one is the new social movements like Amritantamayi Madam's one, which sort of marry spirituality with environment. So the conclusion, I'll just cut towards the conclusion that environmental degradation is often framed in Kerala's environmental narrative as cultural pollution, leading to tensions with Christian and Western influences. The perception of adversaries, as you know, other religions and other scientific influences as adversaries. There is a need for nuanced approach that balances religious narratives with broader conservation goals so that we'll have a sustainable future. State-sponsored projects have several limitations, like Sacred Grove Conservation and Nakshatravanam projects struggle to counter the religious encroachment and maintain environmental integrity. And the secular legitimacy is also at risk. We also need policy and funding reforms. Recommendations include revisiting strategies to address diverse religious and cultural contexts effectively, inclusivity and transparency, and adaptation to local dynamics. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam. Thank you very much, Madam. In present concern. Hello.
Yes. Hi.
Hello.
Do you have any questions?
Yeah. And there is no question, I think. Your topic of presentation was very nice.
Very nice.
In present context. One thing I will suggest that your PowerPoint, the letters in your slides, those are very, very small. It's difficult to see. Kindly
Okay,
next time
very
you will
sorry.
do it. Kindly. Yeah, please.
Sure.
That's what suggestion only. You take it as a suggestion.
Thank you.
Speaker, Dr. Satswati Barua Bhuya, Assistant Professor.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, Ms. Dr.
Yes.
Satswati, you go ahead with your presentation, please.
Yes. So I am Dr. Saswati Borua Bhuya from Commerce Hitesosokya College, Guwahati, Assam. And the topic for my today's presentation is a cursory inquest into the role of women in... I don't have any PowerPoint presentation. No, sir. A cursory inquest into the role of women in Chipko movement. Environment is the source of life on Earth, and it is the product of evolution of millions of years. Everyone needs to understand the environment because environment belongs to all and every individual matter when it comes to conservation and protection of environment. And here the role of women becomes all the more crucial because half of the India's population are women. Women have a vital role to play in the conservation and protection of environment, and in fact, they are invariably more connected and attached to the environment compared to other individuals of society. Since the beginning of civilization, women have been playing a crucial role in managing natural resources for their families and communities. To carry out the responsibilities of household chores, health, and family hygiene, women often depend on nature and are found to spend most of their time with nature, especially in the rural areas. Even the women living in urban areas show their inclination towards being close and attached to nature by maintaining little terrace gardens in their homes. Being the primary user of natural resources, women develop a deep-rooted connection with nature and thus become protective towards nature. If we look through the pages of history, we find various instances of women's participation in creating a safe environment. And here in this paper, I would like to highlight the Chipko movement, which was the first environmental movement inspired by women in India. The Chipko movement is a famous and power movement in Garhwal region of Uttar Pradesh, started in December 1972. The aim of this movement is to resist deforestation attempts on the hill slopes in the name of development programs of the area. It was women who took the lead in the Chipko movement. The term Chipko literally means hugging, the Chipko movement originally started as the tribal women's protest against felling of trees by contractors, but gained momentum under the leadership of Chandi Prasad Bhatt and Sundar Lal Bahuguna. It coincided with the UN Conference of Human Environment held in Stockholm, which recognized the Chipko movement as a mighty environmental protection movement. The Solikram Swarajya Mandal, a self-rule forum of Dasoli village, spearheaded the movement in Gopeshwar, Samoli district in Uttar Pradesh. The DZSM, under the leadership of Sundar Prasad Bhatt and Sundar Lal Bahuguna, Chandi Prasad Bhatt and Sundar Lal Bahuguna started grassroots level movement involving hill women to protect the hill ecosystem. Reckless destruction of hill forests by timber contractors caused landslides and floods in the valley, Alakananda and Bhagirathi, which destroyed the fragile hill ecosystem. The unique feature of Chipko movement was the active participation of hill women from the villages who were the worst sufferers of deforestation, as they had to walk 10 to 15 kilometers every day to collect their fuel for cooking. As soon as the woodcutters come, whenever the contractors with their ex-men came for cutting trees, the women led by Garua Devi tied sacred thread around the trees and actually hugged them and protected them from the X-Men. The contractors finally withdrew from the spot and forest was saved. These brave women faced police firing in 1978, later quoted arrests for the cause. In this way, the entire Himalayan Garhwal region, hill forests were protected from the further destruction. The Chipko movement continues under the leadership of Sundar Lal Bahuguna in various villages of Tehri Garhwal region. The movement aims to educate the people about the hill effects of deforestation in the hill slopes. Though the movement initially started to educate the local people about afforestation, yet later it was possible to involve people in greater issues of ecology and environmental protection. The Chipko movement also took... Yes, sir?
You've got 1 minute more.
Yes, sir. So, I would like to conclude by saying that the importance of women for protection of environment has always been very special and encouraging. Women always plays a pivotal role, whether it was conservation of biodiversity or water resources, as against the construction of hydroelectric project. Realizing the present need, the Government of India has adopted various policies and programs which include women as decision makers when making environmental policies by increasing women participation in the grassroots level and spread awareness towards conservation of environment. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Saraswati. I cannot see any question. Nobody asking any question. So I'm moving forward to Dr. Kashmiri Gogoi Barwa, Assistant Professor.
Yes, sir. I'm present. Yes, sir.
Namaskar. Namaskar. Kindly go ahead with your presentation.
Yes, the title of my paper is Shankar Deva, the Great Social Reformer of Medieval Assam as an Environmentalist. The objective of my paper is to throw some light on the ideas of Shankar Deva about environment and how he showed his love and respect to nature and tried to make people conscious about the preservation of nature. And the methodology, the method of this paper is descriptive and analytical, and the information are collected from secondary sources like books, magazines, souvenirs related to the topic. Shankar Deva was the great social reformer and the religious preacher of medieval Assam. During his time, there was no social unity and people followed different religious beliefs and offered sacrifices to their god and goddesses. Shankar Deva, with a view to reforming the society, introduced the new Vaishnavism or Eksharanam Nam Dharma. Through the ideals of new Vaishnavism, Shankar Deva tried to create a new atmosphere in the socio-cultural and religious field of Assam. Shankar Deva, in true sense, was a humanist, and all his ideas, principles were based on his humanist philosophy. The concept of the coexistence and interface of human being and nature is exhibited in most of the literary works of Indian poets and scholars. Shankardeva, who belonged to medieval Assam, is exceptional among all those poets and writers. He was an animistic and he painted the nature of the physical environment from the animistic point of view. Shankardeva's ideals were welfare, respect, and love and affection to all creatures of nature. Non-violence or ahimsa was one of the principles of his new Vaishnavism or Ek-Sarana Namdharma. So animal killing is totally prohibited in his religion. Once Madhavdeva, as for example, the disciple of Shankardeva debated with his guru Shankardeva at Dhuahat over the two schools of thoughts called probitry, that means worldly activities, and nivritti, the path of salvation. Previously, Madhavdeva was a follower of Shaktism and he wanted to sacrifice gods to goddess Durga Devi. For the offering, Madhavdeva asked one of his relatives, Ramdasa, to buy two gods. But Ramdasa refused to do so and told Madhavdeva about Shankardeva's principle of non-violence, not to animals. The very next day, Madhavdeva went to Shankardeva's place to engage in debate with him. Shankardeva made Madhavdeva realize that animal killing in the name of religion is a great crime, as animals are the part of God. So worship of God, offering his own part, is pointless. Instead, it is the moral duty of each human being to love and respect all creations of God. This reflects Shankardeva's consciousness about natural world and how he strived to make people realize that animals are too part of God. Shankardeva, through his new Vaishnavism, started a movement to save Assamese society from socio-religious confusion and to teach people the real worship of Supreme God. To build up moral character of people, Shankardeva strived to make people realize that God, through well-being of all creatures of nature, well-being or good to all is the devotion to God, and through the devotion, man can be moral. In his literary works, Shankardeva describes all resources of physical environment or nature as the part of God. In his verses, he painted nature or physical environment as the background to love the supreme God Krishna. In his work Kirtan Ghosa, he said, Asanto Isara Hamoste Bhutata Henojani Praniko Koriba Hatokara. By saying this, Shankardeva emphasized on that Krishna, the supreme God, is everywhere in all creatures of nature. So it is the moral duty of all people to do welfare to them. They should have love and regards for all natural resources of nature or universe. In his scripture Gunamala, Shankardeva describes many incidents of Lord Krishna's life. Through those descriptions, he shows the close relation that exists between the man and nature. He describes the loveliness and beauty of season and how the natural beauty of season arouses devotional feeling or love to Supreme God Krishna. Shankardeva also highlights the names of many indigenous trees and plants and their influence in day-to-day life of human beings. As Shankardeva believed in pantheism, and so he identified God with the universe, with all the resources of nature. In fact, Shankardeva, through his life action and literary works, imparted to people the knowledge that,
Ma'am, you got 1
nature,
minute.
yes sir,
Can you-
or the whole physical environment. To conclusion, Shankardeva was a great social reformer and religious preacher. Along with that, he was an environmentalist too. 100 years ago, Shankardeva taught people about the coexistence of human being and nature and about the moral duty of human being to protect and conserve all resources of physical environment. So Shankardeva emphasized on God can be realized through the respect and love to all creatures of nature. Thank you, sir. Sir, I have already concluded.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Kashmir Barwa, madam. Now I'm moving to okay. Sandeep Sarkar has asked a question to you. Is there any difference of non-violence in Buddha and Shankaradeva? That is the question.
Yes, sir, only non-violence, sir. Is that common? But in Buddhism and in the religion of Shankaradeva, non-violence is common, sir.
Okay,
Sir.
okay. Yeah, I think it is clear to you, Sandeep Sarkar, sir. So he is agreed that it is non-violent. We also learned about this Shankaradeva new practice of religion. So I'm moving forward to Dr. Brinita Pegu, Assistant Professor, Karmashri Hidayatullah Sakia College.
Yes, sir. I am present, sir.
Okay.
Hello,
Dr.
sir.
Have kindly
Am I
go ahead.
audible, sir?
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
You're
Good
audible.
afternoon. Hello, sir. Good afternoon to all. Myself, Dr. Vinita Pegu, Assistant Professor of Pharmacy, Hidayatullah Sakia College, Guwahati, and my co-author, Indrani Gogoi, Assistant Professor from the same college. I am going to present seminar paper on the topic climate change and its impact on human health in the northeastern regions of India. Climate change is a global issue that is affecting all the regions of the world. However, its impact is more severe in certain regions, such as the northeastern regions of India. The region has witnessed a rise in number of droughts and flood in the recent years, which resulted in food shortage, waterborne diseases. In addition, the excessive rainfall and flooding have caused landslide, destroyed homes, and disrupted access to healthcare services. The rise in temperature and changing weather patterns have also led to the spread vector-borne diseases such as malaria, dengue, Japanese encephalitis, etc. The increased temperature and humidity through favorable conditions for the breeding and survival of disease carrying mosquitoes and other vectors. Moreover, deforestation and change in land use pattern have also contributed to the spread of these diseases. In the Northeast India, the changing climate has also had significant impact on the indigenous communities who rely heavily on traditional farming practices to their livelihood. With the changing weather pattern, the northeastern regions of Indian people is facing challenge in the predicting and manage their crops, leading to food insecurity and malnutrition. Climate change also has indirect impact on human health, particularly on mental health. The main objective of this paper are to discuss about the various types of vector-borne diseases occur due to climate change in the inhabitant of Northeast India. Second, to highlight the major impact on the human health due to climate change in these regions. Methodology. This paper is based on the secondary data primarily collected from the different books, journals, magazines, newspapers, souvenir internet sources, published and unpublished work. Northeastern regions of India encompassing states like Assam, Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram, Tripura, Meghalaya, and Sikkim is characterized by a tropical monsoon climate with a significant amount of rainfall. However, recent years have witnessed a shift in these climate patterns with increased temperatures, erratic rainfall, and more frequent natural disasters. The Himalayan regions, which form the north border of region, is experiencing significant glacial retreat, the melting, leading to the increased flooding in the regions. The region's unique biodiversity, which plays a crucial role in maintaining the local climate, is also under threat due to these changes. The health implications of climate change in Northeast India are vast and multifaceted. Increased temperature and erratic rainfall pattern have led to a surge in waterborne diseases such as cholera, typhoid, hepatitis A, dysentery, etc. The increased prevalence of these diseases are. Hello, sir. Yes, sir. Attributed to the contaminations of water sources due to the flooding. Northeastern regions of India is a unique biodiversity which include a variety of insects, reptiles, and other wildlife. Is also impacted by climate change. The changing climate is directly and indirectly impacting human health in the northeastern regions of India. The northeastern regions of India is a hotspot for vector-borne diseases such as malaria, dengue, and Japanese encephalitis. With the rise in temperature and changes in precipitation patterns, the breeding habitats of disease-carrying mosquito are increasing. This has led to a rise in the incidence of these diseases, putting the health of the people at risk. Malaria. Malaria transmission in India occurs predominantly from either Plasmodium falciparum or Plasmodium vivax. However, the prevalence of this species varies greatly across different regions of India. There has been steady increase in Plasmodium falciparum case in the 4 decades, and as of December 2018, Plasmodium falciparum was responsible for 48.1% of malaria cases in India. Northeast India state along with Orissa, Chhattisgarh and Jharkhand contributed most of the Plasmodium falciparum case in the country. Northeast India alone contributed to 12% of Indians cases. Assam, Arunachal Pradesh, Meghalaya, etc. The state of Sikkim is mostly malaria-free as of 2018. The 7 North state account for 1,502 of total malaria cases in India. Dengue. The transmissions of dengue is closely associated with the 3 key factors: rainfalls, humidity, and temperature that dictate the geographic in which the spread and infections caused by the dengue virus and transmitted to human through the bite of the infected mosquitoes. In the northeast regions of India, serological survey conducted during 1963 revealed dengue activity in the Lohit district of Arunachal Pradesh and Dharam district of Assam.
Kindly wrap it, madam. Your time is getting over.
Okay, sir. I'm going to conclusions. Climate change poses a significant threat to the health of the inhabitants of Northeast India. The region is already facing numerous challenges, and with the changing climate, the impacts are expected to worsen. Therefore, there is an urgent need for implementing both the mitigation and adaptations measures to the mitigation the effect of climate change on human health in the regions. Additionally, there is a need for collaborations between government, communities, and other stakeholders to address this pressing issue and safeguard the health of the people in the northeastern region of India. Thank you, sir. I'm concluding. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Benita, madam.
Thank you.
It was interesting that the global warming is also changing the pattern of pathogen distribution all over the world. It is really of concern to everyone. I cannot see any question. So I'm moving forward to Dr. Day1-ONLINE Chaudhary, Assistant Professor, Karmashri, Hiteswar Saikia College. Are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, well, welcome. Please go ahead with your presentation.
Yes. Yes, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Day1-ONLINE Chaudhary, Assistant Professor, Education Department. Karmasri Hitesh Hoika College, Guwahati. The title of my paper is Teachers' Role in Creating Environmental Awareness Through Co-Curricular Activities. The objectives of the paper is, at first, the need and to know the need and importance of environmental education. And next one is to highlight the role of the teacher in creating environmental awareness among the students through co-curricular activities. Right now, one of the most glaring problems which the world faces today is environmental pollution. Man has exploited nature excessively at the cost of the environment. There is an urgent need to make people aware of environmental degradation. So environmental education is very essential in stages of education. Actually, the term environmental education is very latest, but it has very ancient root in our culture. In the present scenario, due to various human activities, environmental degradation is alarming rate and it results in various environmental issues. For environmental awareness, various seminars, conferences, talks, world summits are organized, but still present world is environmentally less sustainable. To achieve the acceptable level of global environmental sustainability, the people must be empowered with essential knowledge and information. Man and environment are considered interrelated and there is interdependence in them. Therefore, the need of introduction of environmental education is very essential. Environmental education is a new focus for education. It is a way of helping individuals and societies to resolve fundamental issues relating to the current and future use of world's resources. Educational institutions are the places where the context of the society is more. It is possible to bring changes in the mindset of the people. To protect children living in polluted region, environmental education represents a relevant means of prevention because this type of education encourages awareness and active participation in solving environmental problems. Definitely, the teacher's role is very important. The co-curricular activities of education are the most appropriate means for providing opportunities of environmental education among students. The teacher is the principal means for implementing the program of environmental education and organizing co-curricular activities in and outside the school. There are two main educational programs recommended by Education Commission and Policy. One is National Social Scheme, that is NSS, and the other is Socially Useful Productive Work, SUPW. A teacher has to perform a lot of work. Co-curricular activities must be linked with formal teaching relating to real-life situations. While the teacher must correlate the topics of environmental issues. The co-curricular activities can be organized through various programs in an institutions. Dig pits for waste management in the villages by organizing NSS camps, cleanliness drive in public places, park, markets, etc. Development of sense of sanitation among the people by organizing cultural program, encourage the students for preparing charts related to the environmental pollution and environmental protection, motivate students to participate in debate, storytelling, essay writing on environmental issues, may create awareness among students for environment protection. In teacher education program, various co-curricular activities and cultural program are organized to develop some practical abilities among pupil teachers. The major co-curricular activities are Scout and Girls Guiding, sessional work, preparation of teaching aids, educational excursions, social and cultural activities, and daily assembly program. This program can be organized to develop the environmental consciousness and role of the teacher in the environmental pollution, though it is the responsibility of the society as a whole, but teacher can play a significant role by providing the awareness and consciousness among the young generation at local, regional, and national level through educational excursions and contact programs. By organizing, yes, sir? By
About 1 minute.
organizing different Yes, sir. By organizing different types of co-curricular activities, the teacher who can develop consciousness among his students and people in general. These activities may be helpful for the protection of physical, social, and psychological environment. In the conclusion, it is fine that if you want to live in a clean and safe environment, we must make all the people environmentally educated. Environmental education is relevant to our everyday life because it can ensure the health and welfare future of our nation by protecting human health, advancing quality education, expanding employment opportunities, promoting sustainable and protecting natural heritage. At present, environmental education is very relevant because it makes aware of the need to conserve biodiversity, lead more sustainable lifestyles, and the need to use more equitability. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for finishing in time. Now I will ask Dr.
No, there is no question. Yes.
Okay. So Dr. Mrinmoy Barua is the next.
Yes, sir.
Assistant
Yes, sir.
Psychologist.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, everybody.
Yeah,
Good
go ahead.
afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to present my paper today. My paper is exploring tourism in Meghalaya and preservation of endangered species, a case study. So, coming to the introduction, we know that in India, tourism is the biggest service industry, bringing in 6.23 of the national GDP, and it brings about 8.78 of the total employment of the country. Each year, there is increase in the number of tourists visiting India. The credit of this goes to the Ministry of Tourism, which is the main working institute behind promotion of tourism in India. And to create interest in tourism, the ministry introduced Incredible India campaign. The punchline of this campaign is Atithi Devo Bhava, which means guest is our God. Now coming to the tourism in Meghalaya, which is my study of focus today. It is a state in Northeast India bordering Assam, and the name means the abode of clouds in Sanskrit. The population of Meghalaya as of 2014 is estimated to be 3.211, and it covers an area of approximate 22,430 square kilometers. The state is bounded by the south by the district of Greater Mymensingh and the division of Sylhet, and the west by the division of Rangpur of the People's Republic of Bangladesh. Meghalaya was previously part of Assam and the capital of Shillong, known as the Scotland of the East. But on 21st January 1972, the district of Khasi, Garo and the Jaintia Hills became the new state of Meghalaya. English is the official language of the Meghalaya, and the other principal languages spoken include Khasi, Nar, and Garo. Currently, Meghalaya has 11 districts. Now, Meghalaya is inhabited mainly by three tribes, the Khasis, the Jaintias, and the Garos. Scholars are of the opinion that the Khasi are of Mon-Khmer ancestry and the Jaintias originated from the Southeast Asia, while the Garos came from Tibet. Unlike many Indian states, Meghalaya has historically followed the matrilineal system, where the lineage and inheritance are traced through women. The youngest daughter inherits all wealth and she also takes care of her parents. Coming to the festivals of Meghalaya, there is one festival called Nokrem Dance, and which is an annual Thanksgiving festival held in the first or second week of November, and the unique festival of the Khasi displaying the piped music, drum beats, and dancers intermingle with ritualistic ceremonies. Then there is called Bedin Club. This is a religious festival celebrated by the Nar people of Jaintia Hills after the sowing season is over. The Wangala dance or the 100 Drums festival is a post-harvest festival of the Garos held tentatively in the second week of November at Asanang in West Garo Hills. It is called 100 Drums because 10 villages are invited to perform every year, with each village bringing 10 drums. Next we have, I would like to go to the destinations. And Meghalaya attracts a large number of tourists and is a very special popular tourist destination. The famous tourist spots are the Ward Lake, an artificial lake named after the then Commissioner of Assam, Sri William Ward. And it is a beautiful lake with an arched bridge and it's popular for boating. There is Lady Hyderi Park, which has an abundance of plants and flowers and is a very popular tourist destination. There is the Shillong Golf Course, which was developed in 1898, and it is set in an undulating valley covered with thick groves of pine and rhododendron trees. There is also the Shillong Viewpoint, which offers a panoramic view of the spreading city below. The Elephanta Falls, which derives its name from the rock ensembling an elephant before it got destroyed in an earthquake in 1897. Then there is the Mawsynram, which is 56 kilometers from Shillong, and it's shaped into the Mawsynram is known for the giant
stalagmite formation shaped as Shivalinga found inside a cave locally known as Mojimbuin. Then we have a world famous Cherrapunji, which is about 48 kilometers from Shillong, located around altitude of 1300 meters above sea level. And Cherrapunji is one of the most visited tourist destination of Northeast India and is literally the highest point of any visit to this part of the country. Then there is the Norkalaika Hills, which is considered to be the tallest waterfalls in Asia and is a very popular tourist destination. And this waterfall cascades down from the top of the gorge to the mystic green pool below. Then there is the Umiam Lake, which is also known as the Barapani, in a scenic place tucked away amidst the hills of Meghalaya, which is around 50 kilometers from Shillong. And this lake is popular for water sports activities. Then there is Lump Sofet Beng, is the navel of heaven, is a place of pilgrimage for the Khasis, which is located in a hill in Ribhoi district. And legend says that on the spot, a golden ladder connected heaven and the earth, God and the man. Once a year, in the first Sunday in February, the Khasi people gather here to conduct rites and rituals and offer prayers. Then there is the Jakrem, Ranikor, and Litang Valley, which is located in the southwest Khasi Hills and famous for hot water springs, which are believed to have curative medicinal properties. Ranikor is considered to be one of the best fishing spots in the state as an angler's delight. Yes, I would just like to come. Then there is, talking about the Garo Hills and all now, since my paper is on tourism, I would just quickly like to add upon the adventure tourism, which is a type of niche tourism involving exploration of travel to remote areas. Popularly, the tourists come and spend holidays here. Meghalaya today boasts of having 1,350 caves with 100 more yet to be discovered. And the longest and the deepest caves in the subcontinent are located in Meghalaya. Coming to ecotourism, the tourism industry faced many challenges, and in the wake of this impact, there is a need for an alternative tourism. And one of the best definition of ecotourism is that provided by the Australian National Ecotourism Strategy, which states that ecotourism is nature-based tourism that involves education and interpretation. And Morningnong is a village in the state of Meghalaya located on the foothills overlooking the plains of Bangladesh, and its recent years have become the gem of a place and has appropriately called as the cleanest village of Asia. Since then, tourism has brought about many positive changes in the village. The money generated is thus utilized in positive endeavors. For travelers, there are many small and hidden delights that Morninglong offers. One can visit incredible living footbridges. Now coming to the study revealed that as a total of 436 endangered and threatened plant species have been recorded from Meghalaya, representing 13.90% of the state's flora, and is endowed with variety of orchids, 37 species of bamboo, and around 834 medicinal plants. So in conclusion, I would like to say that proper promotion and tourism along with plant plantation and cultivation of endangered species will not only attract tourists from India and outside, and cultivation of species will help promote livelihood and help improve rural economy in Meghalaya. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Minmoy. You were saying that the plantation or conservation of these endangered species will invite ecotourism or...
Yes, sir. Because there are lot many plants, sir, in Meghalaya which are not known to the people. Maybe the people of the local people know, but in order to bring them, take it to the market, bring closer to the people, and give them a specific name, is not there. So there are many medicinal plants, some of which are not even known to the people. So the state of right, sir. Right, sir.
Exploiting that is also a problem.
Yes, sir.
Whenever people start visiting someplace, they exploit that area in terms of biodiversity.
So more research is required, more study is required to know about the local medicinal plants and to bring closer to the people for their livelihood.
That is definitely required. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Now, so moving forward to Kriti Deep.
Yes, sir, I'm present.
A scholar from Banasthali Vidya. You may go ahead.
Okay, sir, I'm presenting my talk. Okay, sir. So is it visible?
It is visible, but make it full screen, please.
Okay, sir.
That's it.
Okay, sir. A very warm good afternoon to everyone. Myself Kirti Deep. I'm here to present my research topic, which is to examine air pollution tolerance index of selected plant species. Now coming to the next slide. It's not moving. Uh, Now coming to the next slide, in which I am going to give some brief discussion about air pollution. As we all know, increase in pollutants has deteriorated the quality of the air we breathe. Urbanization, burning of fossil fuels, automobiles, anthropogenic activities, overexploitation of natural resources, cutting of trees, and increasing population are some major reasons of air pollution. Air pollution can affect our health, environment, and nation's economy. So now it's time to think about how to reduce such type of pollution because it is a serious environmental issue. Green vegetation plays an important role in controlling the air pollution. Now coming to the main topic, which is APTI, Air Pollution Tolerance Index, is one such tool which can evaluate the tolerance level of plant species towards air pollution. From leaf biochemical parameters such as leaf extract pH, relative water content, ascorbic acid, and chlorophyll content. From the pH of leaf signifies the tolerant capacity of the leaf species and RWBC of the plant cell membrane to maintain its permeability under polluted condition. Ascorbic acid helps in detoxification of polluted plants by reducing sulfur dioxide, and chlorophyll is commonly as an indicator of plant health. This is the formula through which I have calculated the value of APTI of the plants. The main objectives of my studies is to identify the major air pollution at the study site and to determine the air pollution tolerance index of selected plant species. These are the materials and methods, and for pH I have used the instrument like pH Toledo pH meter, and for chlorophyll I have used Arnon method 1949. These are the formula by which I have calculated the chlorophyll values of A and B, and ascorbic acid Keller's methods, and relative water content I have used Sen and Pandari methods. After findings, I found these are my results in which the ficus is has high APTI value. So ficus is tolerant plant, and it is helpful in reducing the air pollution, and cassia is sensitive towards the air pollution. So the conclusion is this study reveals that the evaluation of APTI of the plant is very useful in accessing the tolerant plant species towards air pollution. Plant with high APTI value can be used for development of green belt. Greenbelt has been defined as a mass plantation of pollutant-tolerant trees for mitigating the air pollution by filtering and absorbing pollution in a sustainable manner. Other species recommended very were of high socioeconomic and aesthetic values. These plants can be integrated into greenbelt design to assist in long-term air pollution management of areas. These experiments could be repeated in any part of the world with locally available flora. Thank you, sir.
For finishing it well in time. These kind of studies are nowadays very popular, air pollution tolerance index. What species did you study? Those are
Yes, sir. I have taken. Yes, sir. I have taken like Mangifera indica mango plant, neem plant, and ficus and cassia, in which the ficus, neem, and mangifera is good. It is tolerant species,
Because
and the
what
cassia.
you have taken?
Wait, okay,
What is the
1 minute.
generic name? What is the species name?
1 minute, sir.
Anyway, your suggestion is to we can plant these plants in to make our cities green, particularly in air pollution. Now I'm
Yes,
moving
sir.
forward to Pronoy Sen, PhD scholar, research scholar, Kuch Bihar, Panchanan Burma University. Are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You are there. Okay, thank you. You can
Yes,
proceed
sir.
now. Are you going to present your slides?
Yes, sir. I'm presenting my slides.
And go full screen, please.
Sir, visible my slide?
Yeah, it is visible quite. And
Thank you, sir. Respected sir and all other dignitaries, I am Pronoy Sen, PhD scholar, Kuch Bihar Panchanan Burma University, Kuch Bihar. Today I am presenting my paper, Uncovering the Indigenous Knowledge of Herbal Medicine in the Rava villages of Dhuburi block. At first, starting the slides, indigenous medicine has been used by different group of Rava people since ancient time. One reason for this that there is no other measures of disease control and benefit of modern medicine system were almost non-existing.
Please, mic, mute
Yes,
your
sir.
mic.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. You going on?
Okay. Okay, sir. Benefit of modern medicine system were almost non-existent in this region at that time. Due to the non-availability of modern medical system, people were more dependent on folk medicines. At first, this topic start the slides. I tell about indigenous knowledge. Indigenous knowledge is a unique knowledge confined to a particular culture or society. It is also known as local knowledge, folk knowledge, people's knowledge, traditional wisdom, or traditional science. In this knowledge is passed from generation to generation, usually by word of mouth and cultural rituals, and has been the basis of agriculture, food preparation, healthcare, education, conservation, and the wide range of other some activities that sustain societies in many parts of the world. This my study is conducted on Rava community. The Rava community is linked with the Tibeto-Burman language community among the 4 language communities, and they linguistically belong to subfamily within the Sino-Tibetan family comes from Tibet. In Rava language, Tibet means Ulunglunga Chulunglunga Chung, which means long and hollow hills. This is the their local language. They primarily inhabited Lower Assam and different districts of West Bengal. Some of them are found in the Garo hills of the Meghalaya and Duars. My study is focused on herbal medicine. The herbal medicine here refers to indigenous knowledge of Rava people about medicinal plant. This knowledge they pass from one generation to other. The people of Rava community are quite different on plants and their indigenous medicine. There are some special experienced people in the village who know the plants and know their benefits. They can prepare medicines for various diseases. Such experienced people are called Kabiraj. They treat almost everything with medicinal plant like fever, cold cough, headache, blood sugar, blood pressure, kidney stone, and even COVID treatment. My objectives of the study is the primary goal of this research is to study and analyze the conventional indigenous knowledge and practices concerning the utilization of different medicinal plant among the culturally rich Rava community. I have in this slide, two slides I have used as a review of literature. Rai and Nath 2003, Dasgupta 2011, Das C and Tehran 2014, Sultan Mahmud and Zakaria 2018. Study area. The present study area is located in northern part of West Bengal. Researcher has selected Dhubri block from districts of Jalpaiguri and data will collecting from two Rava villages as Gosaihat Forest Village and Mongolkata Forest Village. Most of the area of villages covered by dense forest, and in the east is Goyarkata town, west is Uttar Khuttimari, Purvo Daukimari, and Madhya Khuttimari. In northeast, Gendapara Tea Garden, and in the south, Dhuburi town and municipality area. This is geographical location of my study. There is Jalpaiguri district in West Bengal, and my study area is Dhuburi in this slide. Population and samples. My population, all the Rava villagers in the population of the study from Gursahed Forest Village and Mongolkata Rava Village. My sample is to achieve the objectives of the present study, the researcher will select a purposive sampling method to collect the data from individuals who are knowledgeable about medicinal plant. Rava people call them Kabiraj. The researcher has selected 7 Kabiraj as a sample from these 2 villages. Method, I used participatory observation methods and interviews, open-ended questionnaire. 3 methods I used for the data collection. And findings. There is many types of medicinal plant and uses I find out from 7 Kabirages. They told me they are medicinal plant and their English name and their uses. In these slides, we can see the English name pigeon pea. That is the this uses. This leaf is crushed and the juice taken on the empty stomach is beneficial in jaundice. There is purple nut stage. Eating the juice of this grass gives the benefit of common sorghum. Some medicinal plant I have not found their English name. But their common name is Gandhamadal. This medicinal plant is used. Taking the juice of this leaf is beneficial for diarrhea. Yes, sir. Diarrhea in this case.
Getting over.
Yes, sir.
You have 1 minute left only.
Okay, sir. In this case of the reluctant to eat, consuming this leaf in beneficial. Guava leaves, juice of new guava leaves taken empty stomach is beneficial. This is pigeon pea, purple nustage, guava leaves, etc. Then curry leaves. These leaves use juice of this plant reduce the effect of floating in the stomach. In the juice should be consumed after crushing the leaf. It is useful for gas. Jarnani plants apply the juice of the leaves of the plant. Stop bleeding. A very useful for folk medicine of Ravas. Guela applying the bark of these trees of the burn areas of the cards and beneficials. Toothache plant, this plant is boiling the bark of this plant and feeding with the hot water is beneficial when the toilet is blocked. This is the plant, and there is 4 plants. Chicken leaves, Meningtok. Meningtok, it is the use in TB. The root of this plant is beneficial. Chicken leaves, eating these leaves, plant is beneficial is women are not menstruating. Roktotej, its tuber mixed with the water, beneficial to dysentery. Leaf cabbage, this mixed juice used water will beneficial for jaundice. Harin coach, the tuber of the plant is mixed with 200 gram of mustard oil and 1 to 2 gram of mulberry is the mixed together and fried. When that oil become 25 gram, it is beneficial applied to sore throat or wound. This is the cabbage leaves. And there is Bijli Ghanta. This leaves is used of this plant ground to a paste with the water and mixed daily with talmistin, beneficial to irregular menstruating in a woman. Sad ora, this plant is root, chinibear leaves with the part of the pineapple leaves, kathal leaves mixed together and grind it and rich powder, make it into cake cover it a cloth and dry it. After that, it smell come out and mixed with.
Only finish the lecture as early as possible. Your time is over.
Okay, sir. I am conclude that there is I used 22 medicinal plant. This is the plant. I have concluded that folk medicine has been used by different group of people in this region since ancient time. One reason for this that there is no other major disease control benefit of modern medical system were almost non-existent in the region of that time. Due to the non-availability of modern medical system, people were more dependent on folk medicine. But sad story is that this knowledge is lost day by day due to the practice. New generation is not interested in traditional folk medicine, folk knowledge, and moreover, because of globalization and internet, Rabha tribe is losing their rich cultural existence. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Pranoy Sen, for your presentation. Now I'm moving to Dr. Rita Soikia, Assistant Professor from BH College. Are you there? Are you there? Dr. Rita Soikia? I think she's not there. So moving further to Julie Rani, Research Scholar, Center for Political Studies, School of Social Sciences, Jawaharlal University, Nehru University. Are you there, Miss Julie Rani? Pronounce and kindly switch off your mute yours. Okay, you have muted. So she's also not there. Then College, Calcutta University.
Hello, sir. Hello. Sir, am I audible? Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Good afternoon, sir, and good afternoon to all. Myself, Shana Salahuddin from Harimon Ghosh College. My co-author Shantanu Mondol is from Nawabaliganj Mahavidyalaya. The topic of my present paper today is Sustainable Development Goal, India's initiative in achieving gender equality and empowerment of women. Now, at the global level, there are 100 females as to 102 males. So this is as far as number is concerned, they are much more or less equal in number to men. But when the question arises as to the allocation of resources, access to opportunities, the women form the most vulnerable groups. The main objectives and goals of sustainable development, which fosters equitable social and economic development and inclusion of all, can never be attained without the achievement of gender equality and empowerment of women. In fact, various summits, starting from the 1992 Rio Summit, the 1993 Human Rights Conference, 1994 International Conference on Population and Development, and the 1995 Fourth World Conference on Women, all emphasized on the empowerment, full participation, and equality for women as the basis for peace and sustainable development. Even the 2018 Commission on the Status of Women in its report made the similar observations. We are concerned here about India's initiative in achieving gender equality and women empowerment. So we can say that the Parliament has organized several forums to develop policy and programs on elimination of poverty, promoting gender equality, and addressing climate change. The Niti Aayog provides the overall coordination and leadership with the Prime Minister as its chairperson. The first VNR, that is the Voluntary National Review Report, was presented by India in 2017 towards achieving 17 development goals, keeping in pace with the SDGs target of 2030. Here we are concerned about Goal 5, that is the achievement of promoting gender equality and women empowerment. So we can say, we'll discuss here about the several initiatives which Indian government has taken. First of all, mention must be made of the Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, which is an awareness campaign aimed at rectifying the child sex ratio across all states and union territories. The main objective was to promote the ideas of accepting the birth of the female child and encouraging the parents to provide complete education to the girl child. Here, we can relate to the famous saying that when you educate a man, you educate a man. But when you educate a woman, you educate a generation. So in this context, this is very important. Next, for the safety and security of women, the government launched several schemes like One-Stop Center scheme, which provided assistance to victims of sexual violence. They are provided with psychological, medical, legal, and financial assistance. Along with this, Women Helpline Scheme was launched, which provided women to access the number, which is a 24-hour active helpline at the time of danger. Not only that, women staying at urban places, working, they have also been provided with working women's hostels where they can reside safely. Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala scheme. Please don't take offense if I say this, that the household chores seem to be the sole responsibility of women. It is as if women are bound to fulfill this responsibility. A study on gender and livelihood impacts on clean cook stoves in South Asia reveals that Indian women spend approximately 374 hours every year collecting firewood. They could otherwise have spent this time either on education or other productive work. This problem was looked into seriously by the government, as a consequence, every woman below the poverty line is provided with clean cooking fuel in the form of LPG connection. Apart from this, several initiatives have been taken for improving female labor participation. Mahila Ye Haat, a bilingual direct online marketing platform which supports women entrepreneurs and self-help groups for showcasing their products and services. Apart from that, there are Stand Up India, Mahila Shakti Kendra, Women Transforming India. All these are there for empowering them in one way or the other. Nothing is impossible without social security. And in order to meet this purpose, the government extended maternity benefits from 12 weeks to 26 weeks. The Maternity Benefit Amendment Act 2017, which ensured women are not compelled to leave their jobs in order to take care of their children. Of course, I will also mention here about the child care leave rule, which provide opportunities for women to take time off in order to take care of their children. All these allow women to balance the responsibilities of both professional work and motherhood, which in turn ensures the physical and mental being of the family as a whole, and as such, as the society as a whole and as the country as a whole. In order to counter the problems related to crimes, sexual harassment, domestic violence, the government passed several historical legislations. Mention here must be made of the Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace, Prevention, Prohibition, and Redressal Act in 2013, which is specifically stated that no women shall be subjected to sexual harassment at any workplace. Not only that, the Domestic Violence Act 2005 was passed in order to look into the problems of domestic violence. Similarly, in order to deal with cyber crimes, which is on the rise today, the government passed the Information Technology Act 2000 to deal with the problem of cyber crimes in India. Now, a woman can achieve her real self-worth and make a difference in the society only by bringing changes in the decision-making process of the country. The government in this respect also left no stone unturned in order to ensure her active participation in the decision-making activities of the government. The 73rd and the 74th Constitutional Amendment Act 1992 made provision for the reservation of 1/3 of the seats for women in panchayat bodies and municipal bodies. The very recent 2023 legislation on women reservation bill was passed, making provision for 33% reservation of seats in parliament also. However, the legislation is scheduled to come into force after India publishes its next census. So it is important that the representation of women in various elected bodies be increased, because this is the only platform where they can raise and address issues and problems related to women. The government has also taken initiative in bringing about reforms.
You got 1 minute more.
Yes, sir. In the religious personal laws, for example, the Muslim Women Protection of Rights and Marriage Act 2019 was passed, which declares the triple talaq as void and illegal. This is a great proof of empowerment of Muslim women, which give them secure the dignity and order which they deserve in society. Of course, the impediments are there and will be as to the achievement of all these goals, like lack of proper awareness, lack of education, politicization of each and every issue. Still, a wholehearted, concerted effort on part of every state or non-state actors, be it media or civil society or the government mechanisms or the people themselves, only will help in bringing about proper change in society, which will direct the society towards equitable, just social and economic order. And last but not the least, the role and education of men and boys also play a very important role. They have to be educated about their role in sharing responsibilities and duties in domestic work, and most important of all, our attitude and outlook towards women, because it is only through mutual respect, trust, and cooperation towards each other will only help and foster and promote gender equality, and thus help in achieving sustainable development. I end with Honorable Prime Minister's statement, who always emphasizes on the point, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. So for the development of all, it is important to include all. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sainaz, for your nice presentation. Transmission was very good in your case. There is no question in the chat box. If anybody can ask any question. If there is no question, I will proceed to Shravani Paul, SAT teacher, Thakur Panchanan Mahavidyalaya, Mahila Mahavidyalaya. Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Kindly go ahead. Your time is 5 minutes, 1 minute added.
Good afternoon, dignitaries and my all co-paper presenters. I am Shravani Pal, state-aided college teacher, Department of Political Science, Thakur Panchanan Mahila Mahavidyalaya, Kuch Bihar. Today in this seminar, I am going to present my paper, that is Environmental Movement in Pre- and Post-Independence India, a Political Perspective. I will absolutely state my opinion, main topic and conclusion. Environmental movements in India have a deep-rooted history intertwining with the nation's socio-political fabric since the pre-independence era. From early protest against colonial exploitation to contemporary struggles for ecological justice, these movements have often intersected with politics, shaping policy agendas, mobilizing public opinion, and influencing governance. The pre-independence era in India was characterized by colonial exploitation of natural resources for economic gain, leading to widespread environmental degradation. Early environmental movements such as the Chipko movement in the Himalayan region and the Bishnoi community's conservation efforts in Rajasthan emerged as resistance against deforestation and land encroachment by colonial authorities. These movements were rooted in local communities' struggles for survival and autonomy, highlighting the intrinsic connection between environmental stewardship and livelihoods. politics played a significant role in shaping pre-independence environmental movements, with nationalist leaders like Mahatma Gandhi incorporating ecological principles into the broader struggle for independence. Gandhi's advocacy for Swadeshi, which is self-sufficiency, and Sarvodaya, which is welfare for all, emphasized the importance of sustainable living and community-based development. Similarly, leaders like Jawaharlal Nehru recognized the link between environmental conservation and nation building, advocating for the protections of natural resources as integral to India's economic and social progress. The period following independence witnessed a shift in the focus of environmental movements as India grappled with the challenges of rapid industrialization, urbanization, and population growth. Concerns over population, deforestation, and displacement of marginalized communities catalyzed the emergence of grassroots activism across the country. The Silent Valley movement in Kerala, the Narmada Bachao Andolan in Madhya Pradesh, and the Bhopal gas tragedy in 1984 were pivotal movements that galvanized public awareness and political actions on environmental issues. Politics played a complex role in post-independence environmental movements, with tensions often arising between development imperatives and conservation goals. The conflict over large-scale infrastructure projects such as dams and industrial zones highlighted the trade-offs between economic growth and environmental sustainability. Political parties and governments grappled with balancing competing interests, facing pressures from both industry lobbyists and environmental activists. The evolution of environmental governance framework, including the establishment of regulatory bodies like the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, reflected the growing recognition of environmental concerns in policy making. The relationship between the environmental movements and politics in India is complex and multifaceted. Political actors, including political parties, policymakers, and government agencies, often respond to the demands and pressures exerted by environmental movements. In some cases, political leaders have championed environmental causes, incorporating them into their policy agendas and electoral platforms. For example, initiatives like the Swachhata Bharat Mission and the National Clean Air Program demonstrate the government's responsiveness to the public concerns over sanitation and air pollution. However, politics can also be a source of challenges and conflicts for environmental movements. The pursuit of economic growth and development objectives sometimes conflicts with environmental conservation goals, leading to tensions between government priorities and grassroots demands. Moreover, political interest, bureaucratic interior, and corporate influence can undermine efforts to enact and enforce environmental regulations effectively. Environmental governance in India often reflects this competing interest, with varying degrees of success in addressing environmental challenges.
Shalini,
Thank
Paul,
you.
you have
Thank
1
you.
minute
Thank you.
remaining. Okay. Thank you very much
Thank you, sir.
for wrapping it up. If any question, anyone? No question. So moving to Dr. Doyle Day, Assistant
Yes, sir.
Professor, Raja Ram Mohan Roy Mahavidyalaya.
Yes, sir. Am I audible,
Madam.
sir?
Yeah, you're audible. Are you
Okay.
going to present through PowerPoint?
No, sir.
Okay, go ahead, please, sir.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Today, I'd like to present my paper on Vishnoi movement, a religio-environmental movement from eco-feministic approach. The environmental movement is an umbrella which includes all kinds of local struggles and conflicts related with the livelihood issues and ecological security. The nature of environmental movements differ from highly organized to radically unorganized activities. Sometimes geographical scope of environmental movements ranged from being local to global in nature. An environmental movement can be defined as a socio-political movement for the protection and conservation of environment and wildlife, or a movement for the improvement of the environmental condition. The terms green movement or conservation movement are also used to describe same movements. Regarding ecological feminism is a completely new concept that have propagated an alternative formulation of the relationship of oppression between human and non-human groups. The whole objective of the framework of ecological feminism is to deconstruct the traditional dichotomies that have operated in favor of the perpetuation of hierarchies for the establishment of values and for the separation of realms such as human and non-human. In the arena of ecological feminism, there are substantial historical, symbolic, and theoretical connections between the domination of women and environment. In response to that, the framework of ecological feminism provides a distinct feministic environmental ethics. It is within this framework the age-old religio-philosophical movement of Vishnoi community can be analyzed. The Vishnois living in the Western Rajasthan on the fringe of the third desert for centuries have been conserving the flora and fauna of the region. For them, nature-loving people, protection of the environment, wildlife and plants is a part and parcel of their sacred tradition. In the 15th century, Jamboji, a resident of the village near Jodhpur, had a vision that the cause of the drought of this area was because of people's interference with nature. And after that, being a sannyasi, he organized these Vishnoi sects. He laid down 29 tenets of his for his followers, including be compassionate to all the living beings or do not cut green trees. Nature protection was given foremost importance in these tenets. The principles that was not only tailored to conserve biodiversity of the area, but also ensured eco-friendly social life. For modern societies, it is unbelievable to find that Vishnoi women feed milk to the baby of the black deer with their breasts, carrying them as their own children. It determined the adherence of the Vaishnois to such values that has helped them to survive and ensure the survival of the fragile desert ecosystem. This movement was the first of its kind to have developed the strategy of hugging or embracing the trees for their protection spontaneously. That was really a landmark in the course of environmental movement of this country. The main objectives of the Vaishnavis were to conserve biodiversity of the area so as to ensure a health, eco-friendly social life for the community, to promote personal hygiene, to defend against the cutting of such trees and advocated movement against deforestation, to preserve biodiversity and encourage good animal husbandry. The philosophy of the Jambuji was, as we know that he was the torchbearer of these Vaishnavi sects, his main ambition was to uplift the condition of women along with ecological protection. And in this concern, the Amrita Devi and the Vaishnavi movement case must be highlighted. The Vaishnavi movement was remarkable in the history of the environmental movement in India, mostly because of this Amrita Devi incident. That was probably the first environmental movement in India. In 1730, 363 Vaishnavi men, women and children led by Amrita Devi died protecting trees from cutting by the king's men. This incident happened in Khejrali, which is a village in Jodhpur district of Rajasthan, 26 kilometers southeast of the city of Jodhpur. The Vaishnavis sacrificed their lives while protecting trees by hugging them under the leadership of Amrita Devi, and honoring this the courage of the Vaishnavi community, especially the courage of Amrita Devi. The ruler of the Jodhpur, Maharaja Abhay Singh, apologized for the mistake committed by his officials and issued a royal decree engraved on a copper plate ordering the following: like, all cutting of green trees and hunting of animals within these revenue boundaries of Vaishnavi villages was strictly prohibited. It was also ordered that if mistake by any individual violated this order, he would be punished by the state. And even the member of the ruling family did not shoot animal in or even near the Vaishnavi village. The Chipko movement involved hugging the trees in order to save them from being cut.
Ma'am, you got 1 minute more. Please conclude.
Yeah, sir, I'm finishing. It was started in 1972 by Sundarlal Bahuguna to save the trees in Garhwal region but his movement was inspired by what was done by Amrita Devi 3 centuries back. This movement and sacrifice not only inspired Chipko movement, but also Government of India in the form of Amrita Devi Vaishnavi Wildlife Protection Award and Government of Rajasthan in the form of Amrita Devi Vaishnavi Smriti Prayavan Award for contributing to the protection of wildlife and environmental conservation respectively. So the Vaishnavi movement was a fantastic example of religio-environmental movement from eco-feministic approach. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Doyle. You are right that Vishnoi movement and Vishnoi people are great. They are the crusaders of the society, environment, protection of biodiversity. We know about that. Thank you for presenting their activities. So, moving further, Dr. Soumitra Mitra, guest lecturer, Rabindra Bharati University. Are you there? Are you there, Dr. Soumitra Mitra? Soumita Mitra, rather. I think she's not there. Anyone else left? Somprikta Biswas.
No.
Somprikta Biswas.
Okay.
Okay. Somprikta Biswas, she has a talk yesterday, but she want to present today. So, sorry, tomorrow. I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. If possible, I want to do it today.
No, you can present. You go ahead, please.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much. Sir, is it visible?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay, sir. Is my presentation visible, sir?
Pardon? Are you going to present to PowerPoint?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it has come. Make it full screen, please.
Yes.
Sir, is it visible?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Samprikta Biswas. I am a research scholar in the Department of History, Assam University. The title of my paper is Food in Ancient India and its Relationship with Environment, a Historical Study. So I would like to begin with my objective. This paper will attempt to know about the different food items of the ancient Indians. It will also try to understand the relationship of food with environment. It will also seek to know about the environment conservation from the ancient literatures. So I'd like to begin with my introduction. Indian civilization has always been an eco-friendly civilization from its ancient days. In ancient consideration, environment is not a physical or a lifeless being, but a very living and active mechanism, and human beings are just one amongst the various other creatures that inhabit the earth. Food is an intrinsic part of human life, and it ensures the sustenance of life on earth. Civilizational traditions related to food enriches a civilization. The food culture that began in ancient India has left an indelible mark on the present-day Indian gastronomy. In the earliest times, man was a hunter-gatherer who depended on the flesh of animal that he hunted along with the vegetables, fruits, flowers, which he gathered for food. The development of civilization resulted in the growth of population, which brought about changes in the requirements of food. And to counter the scarcity due to the increased population, man began to transform his lifestyle from hunting gathering to settling down in communities and focus on raising crops and domesticating animals to change the dependency of food from hunting gathering to a more reliable form of availability of food. To sustain the growth of population, the need to ensure a consistent supply of food became paramount. Civilizational progress led to complex intricacies in the life of people in ancient India. Food traditions and culture too progressed from simple to complex. Man began to curate food which was enhanced in taste and superior in nutritive value. But at the same time, the ancient Indians recognized their dependence on nature to obtain food, and they highly respected the environment and worshipped the components of nature in order to generate awareness for its conservation. The continuation of environmental awareness can be seen in the ancient Indian civilization from the earliest times. The ecological awareness can be seen in the notion of Aranya Aranyani, meaning the queen of forests, as envisaged by the Vedic seers. There are several descriptions in the Vedas regarding the praise to Aranyani, the spirit of the forest which guides and protects the plants and wild animals. The ancient Indians observed nature in all its true aspects. The ancient texts also mention the environmental degradation due to natural forests for factors as well as human activities. They also mention about the preservation of environment and ecological balance. So the food category, food that was grown and eaten by the people in ancient India mainly consisted of the following categories. There were cereals and pulses, dairy products, meat and fish, fruits and vegetables, beverages, oil and oilseeds, sweeteners, salt and spices. So let's begin with the cereals and pulses. So among the cereals and pulses, barley was the most important cereal. There was wheat, which is mentioned in all the Samhitas except the Rig Veda. There was rice, and amongst the pulses, the most famous ones were masa, which was kidney beans, and mudga and masura. Apart from that, there was red, black, and green lentils. Amongst the dairy products, milk formed one of the principal ingredients of the food of the ancient Indians. Apart from that, there was curd, butter, and clarified butter or ghee was consumed as well. Meat was also mentioned. Meat eating is also mentioned as early as the Rig Vedic period. Cow, goat, barren cow, goat, sterile ox, sheep was eaten. Towards the later Vedic period, meat consumption became less as many prohibitions came along. Later on, under the influence of Buddhism and Jainism, meat consumption became lesser as non-violence was promoted. Though it was not prohibited, but it wasn't appreciated either. Fish was also consumed during this period. Amongst the sweeteners, honey was the most important one, though people consumed sugarcane and jaggery as well. Among the salt and spices, salt is not mentioned in the Rig Veda, although it is the salt ring exists in the Sapta Sindhu region, but it is frequently mentioned in the later Vedic texts. Amongst the spices, turmeric, long pepper, mustard were the most important ones. Amongst the oil seeds, mustard and sesame was the most important ones. Amongst the fruits and vegetables, there were a lot of fruits that were mentioned in the various literatures. The most prominent ones were mango, dates, wood apple, melons, papaya, bananas, Indian blackberry or jamun. And amongst the vegetables, there was eggplant, pumpkin, jackfruit, bitter gourd, spinach. And amongst the beverages, soma juice was the most important one. Apart from that, there was sura, which was an intoxicating drink. There was parisruta, water. There was another important beverage, which was made of 5 ingredients: curd, ghee, milk, honey, and sugar, which was called madhuparka. There were fruit syrups, were also among the most important beverages during this period. So the ancient literatures throw light on the conservation of environment. All the food that was consumed in ancient India was mostly dependent upon plant products. Agriculture in ancient India was organic in nature, where they were well aware of the seasonal seeds and seasonal crops, which ensured sustainability. All the non-vegetarian food is also dependent upon plants, as majority of the animals that are consumable live on plants and plant products. Hence, unequivocally, nature and environment sustain the life for all human beings, and it is responsible for the sustenance of life for human beings on earth. So I would like to begin with Atharva Veda and environment. So the Vedic hymn to the earth, the Prithvi Sukta in Atharva Veda, is unquestionably the oldest and the most evocative environmental invocation. It is an earnest prayer to the Mother Earth to bestow all kinds of prosperity on the human beings. In it, the Vedic seer solemnly declares the enduring filial allegiance of humankind to Mother Earth, which goes Mata Bhumiya Putroham Prithivya, which is, Earth is my mother and I am her son. Mother Earth is celebrated for all her natural bounties and particularly for her gifts of herbs and vegetation. Sir, am I audible?
Yes. Clearly you are audible.
Okay, sir. So among the other Vedic texts, in ancient India, protection and conservation of environment was the essence of the Vedic culture. Forest, trees, wildlife protection held a special place. Cutting green trees was prohibited and punishment was prescribed for such acts. The Vedas attach great importance to environmental protection and purity. They persist on safeguarding the habitation, proper afforestation, and non-pollution. In fact, man was forbidden from exploiting nature. He was taught to live in harmony with nature and recognize emphasize the divinity prevails that is on all elements, including the plants and animals. The rishis of the past have always had great respect for nature. A verse from the Rig Veda goes as, thousands and hundreds of years, if you want to enjoy the fruits and happiness of life, then take up systematic planting of trees. Apart from that, Ramayana and Mahabharata, these epics also stresses greatly on the awareness and conservation of trees. I would like to go to Arthashastra next. So the celebrated Indian author Kautilya in his Arthashastra suggested suitable punishments for tree fellers and animal poachers. The following there are some of the fines that were attached to different for cutting trees, for minor cutting of a minor branch of a tree, there was different fines that were imposed. For cutting the trunks, there was different fine that was imposed. Similarly, all of these measures were imposed in order to just ensure that there was environmental balance and conservation of environment is secured. So I'd like to conclude my paper on the environmental awareness of the ancient Indians from their formative years helped in instilling in them the awe, respect, wonder, gratitude, and a sense of belonging and concern of living life in harmonious balance with natural surroundings. In ancient scriptures, the Vedic scholars have not only explained the usefulness of trees and plants, but also depicted their beauty and charm in their writings. It is a fine illustration of their position and usefulness in life and their affiliation with humanity. It was evident to the ancient Indians that only an earth that is filled with trees and forests and hills can harbor and nurture the human race. Hence, ample evidence can be seen in the ancient scriptures pointing out to the need for protection of environment that helps in maintaining the ecological balance, which in turn has an overall benefit to the society. The ancient Indians considered food as a sacred entity. Their ideas on environment made them aware that the most necessary entity in human survival is food, which is a product of environment. They realized the importance of conservation and preservation of environment was the only means of survival, as without nature there is no means of obtaining food and life on earth cannot exist. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Somprita
Yes, sir.
Madam. No, Somita Mitra.
Yes, sir.
For your presentation. So with this lecture, we conclude today's session, afternoon session. It was a very nice session. 15 speakers presented their papers on various topics, starting from Chipko, Narmada Bachao movement to the poems of Keki and Daruwala. We came to know about e-vehicle and their problems, wisdoms in Vedic literature, then Chipko movement, Sankaradeva, the great social reformer of medieval Assam. We came to know about him also. Climate change and impact on human health. Interesting topic was selected. Teachers' role in creating environmental awareness, then air pollution tolerance index to select some plant species for cultivating in polluted areas. Indigenous knowledge in Rabha village regarding some herbal plants. Then we also learned about the gender equality and empowerment of women. We came across through Vishnoi movement and many more things. So thank you each and everyone who participated in this session and made this session successful. I'm thankful to my co-chairperson, Dr. Amrita Haldar, and my technical assistant, my friend, my colleague also, Dr. Animesh Mondal. I'm thankful to everyone, organizers, and your beautiful cooperation. Nobody unmuted or interrupted in any way during the streaming of this session. So thank you very much. With this, I end this session. Thanks.